Dave, Florida, this is your home state. Let's talk us through it, because the documents trial was originally supposed to start this past Monday, and the judge is still holding hearings on whether it will ever happen. Talk about what happened in court today and why things got so heated so quickly.
Stephanie, there's a dispute over whether Woodward, the lawyer for Nauta, was offered a judicial position, and it was tanked by the federal government because his client did not comply. So this is a real personal dispute between the lawyer for Nauta and the prosecution. But in the end, this stuff really is exactly what the government says it is, garbage, because these are delay tactics. Most judges would have just dismissed this stuff out of hand. Prosecutors have a lot of leverage of how they can compel people to testify or at least cut deals with them. But Judge Cannon has been slow walking this case from the beginning. Judge Cannon has given in all the delay tactics, and it's so frustrating because most other judges would either dismiss this or just hold a hearing and combine all the motions into one. But she just does one hearing at a time, and she is doing something that other judges would never do. She's all alone in this satellite courthouse, Stephanie, in Fort Pierce. That's part of the problem. There's no adult supervision there. And so she's giving in to all of Trump's requests. This is like paralysis by analysis. This is dilatory purgatory. And it's so frustrating for all of us.
Ankush, do you agree with that? Because these motions have been piling up for months. She keeps saying she needs time to deal with this. Has she just figured out how to kick the can down the road without getting kicked off the case herself?
You know, it's sort of an enduring mystery whether she's doing this like deliberately in some people's estimation, or I sort of incline toward like she's not quite experienced enough to be handling a case like this. Maybe is sort of feeling a little uncomfortable operating under the glare of the spotlight. The upshot is the same, though. I mean, this case, you know, I never really thought it had much of a strong chance of going to trial before November, even when it was initially brought. These are complicated cases. But you know, Dave is exactly right. I mean, some of these arguments, including the one about this potential enticement to Stan Woodward to get his client to cooperate. That allegation has been in the air for a couple of years now. It's never made much sense. I've never found it credible. Even if it were true, I don't even think it would provide a legal basis to dismiss the charges as Woodward has been claiming. So I share the view that some of these arguments are getting much too much attention.
Does Jack Smith have any recourse if Cannon rules against him, Ankush?
I mean, he has the same sort of recourse that people have been batting around for a while now, which is, you know, oh, if the ruling is bad enough, maybe he tries to take it up to the 11th Circuit, mandamus, to try to get it off. I've never thought that those sorts of tactics had much chance of success, and they would more likely than not just annoy her and potentially even the appeals court. I think for better or worse, Jack Smith and his team of prosecutors are largely going to be stuck dealing with her for the foreseeable future, unless Trump gets reelected and then just kills the case.
Molly, what do you think? There is no sign of a trial date. She seems to be doing everything Donald Trump would love for her to do. You think it's innocent? It's naivete? You think she's just down there in a satellite court by herself, or she's in the tank for El Trumpo?
A simple juror.
Just a simple country girl.
I think ultimately she's auditioning for the Supreme Court. She thinks that if Trump gets reelected, she will be Justice Cannon, and we've heard Trump world say as much. Look, she's totally delaying. And this is a good case. This case, if it hadn't ended up on her docket, it could have been a real case. So I do think that this is not innocent. I don't know why. I feel like everyone is addicted to giving these Trump people the benefit of the doubt. Why? We've seen how MAGA behaves.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, please.
Because there are much easier ways to kill this case if she was trying to get on the Supreme Court. I mean, she could just dismiss the charges. She could entertain more seriously some of these issues. She could grant the evidentiary hearing that Stanley Woodward asked for today, which would delay this even longer and embarrass the prosecutors. So that's kind of why I can't get all the way there. If she does
things like that,
right.
Hold on. Yeah. If she does things like that, can't the prosecution appeal, it go to the higher court, and the higher court says, no, she's completely out of line, which is what they did a year and a half ago. Dave?
Yes, and I think Ankush brings up a good point, but I agree with you, Stephanie. If she goes too far and she gives a final order dismissing this, then Jack Smith has the excuse to go to the 11th Circuit and get her not only reversed, but removed from this case. She doesn't want that. She's already been repudiated by the conservative 11th Circuit already a year ago. She doesn't want to be publicly humiliated again, so she's doing just enough to delay without being able to be appealed and taken off this case.
Ankush?
I mean, the Supreme Court is still a 6-3 conservative majority, right? So if she dismissed the case and whatever the 11th Circuit were to do with it, I mean, ultimately, the Supreme Court would get to weigh in. So again, like, there are just mechanisms here that I think are readily available to her if she really did want to tank this case more aggressively.
All right, let's talk about these new court documents that were unsealed yesterday. Plus, we got these new images. The government says are Walt Nauta moving boxes around Mar-a-Lago not long after the subpoena was issued 2 years ago. Dave, why is this so important for Jack Smith's case, if this case ever sees the light of day?
This is obstruction, and they actually had the temerity today to claim, at least Walt Nauta did, that it's selective prosecution. Why is he the only one who moved boxes who's being prosecuted for it? Well, there, you see why. He's the one on tape. I mean, really, people lie, but video does not. And he also lied under oath. So this is all really important. It goes to why it's ridiculous to even have these hearings in front of Judge Cannon. Let's move forward with this case. As Ankush says, this is a good case. This is the best case that they have against Donald Trump.
All right, Ankush, new topic. Let's talk about the New York case. Judge Merchan told lawyers he's going to get them a final version of jury instructions tomorrow. How crucial are these instructions to the outcome of the case? And can any of the lawyers object?
Well, the time for objecting to the instructions, like, that's been happening, right? They had a charge conference earlier this week. There have been all sorts of behind the scenes exchanging of drafts, stuff that normally, at least in federal courts, is public. We haven't really seen that. It's been sort of obscured from public view. But in this case, I think the instructions are extremely important, actually. There are quite a few issues that are sort of novel, if you will. That doesn't mean that they're improper in any way, but issues that the parties are sort of confronting for the first time, and they've been sort of looking at different types of legal authority to try to make their case. These aren't sort of charges, at least on the facts here, where the lawyers can just pick a pattern jury instruction from like a handbook the way they might normally do. So, and particularly on this question of what Trump's intent needs to be in order to be convicted on these charges, what it means to have the intent to commit a quote unquote another crime, is something that is still, as we're talking right now, and it's an issue that the judge has not resolved yet, but it's critically important for how the parties structure their closing arguments and what the jurors ultimately do.